Hello, welcome back to Castles from Around the World. Today we're traveling to Wales, to a place that has watched centuries pass from the edge of land and water. Today we're visiting Caernarfon Castle.
Oh, okay, I'm immediately excited!
You should be.
Because just saying the name feels important, like this is not a background castle.
No, it's not. And what makes Caernarfon special is that it doesn't whisper its history. It stands there and lets you feel it before you understand it.
See, that's my favorite kind of place. The kind where you know something is going on, even before anyone explains it.
Exactly. This is a castle people react to. They have strong reactions and different reactions.
Which means I'm probably gonna ask a lot of questions today.
That's encouraged.
Good, because I already have several and you said nothing yet.
That's the fun part. Caernarfon is one of those places where context changes everything. So today we're gonna take our time with this one.
I like that, because castles usually get treated like decorations and this one already feels like it refuses to be that.
It does. And by the end of this episode, it's probably gonna mean something different to you than it did when we started.
I'm ready.
I'm Christopher.
And I'm Trebby.
Take it away, Trebby.
And we would like to say, welcome to...
Castles from around the world. Raise your voice, let the banners unfurl. Castles from around the world. Every stone's got a story to hurl. Sing it loud, sing it proud, sing it true. From the ancient to the ruined and new. Castles from around the world. We come to wander the ages with you.
Caernarfon Castle was built on a narrow peninsula at the mouth of River Sayant in northwest Wales, where river meets the tides and the wind never really rests. This wasn't empty land. Long before the castle, this place already carried the weight of an empire. Nearby stood Saguntium, a Roman fort. Around it, older Norman earthworks. Different rulers, same ground, same idea. Edward I didn't choose this location for beauty, he chose it for control. From here, the English crown could command the Menai Strait, a vital route for travel, for trade, and for military supply. And from this single point, they could tighten their grip on Gwynedd, the heart of Welsh power. The land itself helped enforce that control. Marshes and wetlands slowed movement. Tides reshaped approach routes hour by hour. Steep riverbanks limited how attackers could attack. And along the water, the castle towers watched the river, controlling access to docks, to supply lines, and to escape. But this landscape came with a cost. Medieval access here was difficult and unreliable. Marshy ground meant few stable paths. Moving stone, timber, tools, everything was slow, heavy, and dangerous. If you stood here in the 13th century, you wouldn't see a quiet village. You'd hear seabirds overhead, livestock nearby, market noise carried on the wind. You'd smell fish, damp earth, wood smoke, and salt water. This wasn't a fairy tale setting, it was a working medieval coastline. And then there's the meaning. Welsh tradition tied this region to Magnus Maximus, a place where Roman authority and prophecy blended together. Edward did not ignore that symbolism. He used it. To the local communities, this castle wasn't protection. It was an imposition. English royal power driven into Welsh land. Even the ground pushed back. Unstable soil and tidal conditions forced heavy leveling just to make building possible. And the Menai Strait shaped the castle itself, especially the waterfront towers designed to control movement, supply, and retreat. From the very beginning, Caernarfon was never meant to blend in. Travelers described it as massive, intimidating, unlike any other English fortress. Not a quiet garrison, a statement.
Okay, right away, that location sounds intense.
Yeah, it's not gentle geography.
Rivers, tides, wind that never stops. That already feels like a place that doesn't let you relax.
It never really has. That peninsula forces your attention.
What surprised me was realizing it was empty. Roman forts nearby, Roman earthworks. People kept coming back to the same spot.
Different rulers, same ground, and same idea.
Which makes Edward choosing it feel calculated.
Exactly. Not beauty, control. From that single point, you're commanding the Menai Strait and pressing into Gwynedd.
That's such a power move, like, I'll stand here, and everything has to deal with me.
And the land helps him do it. Marshes slow movement, tides keep changing the rules, steep banks limit approach, the environment becomes part of the defense.
But then the flip side hits, building there sounds miserable.
It was. Unstable ground, few paths, heavy materials. Everything was slow, risky, and exhausting.
And it wasn't some quiet outpost either. The sounds, the smells, markets, livestock, seabirds.
It's a working coastline. Busy, loud, physical.
Which makes the meaning part land harder. Because of the Roman connection.
Yeah, that blend of Roman authority and prophecy already lived there. Edward didn't ignore that, he leaned into it.
So for local communities, this wasn't safety?
No, sadly, it was power arriving and staying.
Even the ground pushing back feels symbolic, like the land saying, this isn't easy. So from the very start,
It was never meant to blend in.
not subtle, not quiet.
A statement. Construction began in 1283. Edward I was in the middle of conquering Wales. This was not a casual build, this was statecraft in stone. The man trusted to shape it was Master James of St. George, a surveyor engineer who didn't just design defenses, he designed meaning. For him, walls weren't just protection, they were language. Caernarfon wasn't meant to quietly hold ground, it was meant to look like an empire. That's why this castle feels different. The towers aren't standard, they're polygonal, angular, deliberate. The stonework is banded, light against dark, echoing Roman imperial buildings. The details point backward towards emperors, ancient authorities, inherited power. This wasn't subtle. We know how serious this was because the records survive. Medieval accounts, pipe rolls, wardrobe accounts, list costs, materials, plans. This wasn't improvisation. This was managed at the highest level of the medieval state. But the land resisted. The soil was marshy. The tides eroded constantly. Foundations had to be leveled, reinforced, rebuilt. Just making the site stable was a battle. Stone came from nearby quarries, L.L.C, and the River Sion, and moving it was hard. Builders relied on technology pushing medieval limits. Hoists and timber cranes, lime kilns burning day and night. A large-scale masonry work was at play. This was heavy industry for its time. Then politics detonated the schedule. In 1294, a Welsh uprising led by Mad Dog Ap Llewellyn halted construction. When work resumed, nothing was simple. From 1295 to 1323, the project expanded, shifted, changed, and still, it was never finished. Parts of the outer ward remained incomplete, sections of the inner ward were never built. Even decades later, the vision exceeded reality. And the cost wasn't only money. Records mentioned deaths, accidents, wage disputes. This wasn't a clean blueprint. It was dangerous work. Funding surged, collapsed, and then surged again. At its height, the project consumed tens of thousands of pounds, a staggering sum at the time. But rebellion, royal priorities, and political strain kept pulling resources away. Tensions grew between engineers and royal officials over speed, cost, control. Because even kings learned this lesson. When you try to build a symbol larger than your era can support, the symbol begins to strain the system building it.
Oh man, that was a little stressful, just a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's the timeline. 1283 sounds decisive. But then everything just keeps stopping. That's stressful!
That's the reality of medieval building. Plans existed, but nothing moved cleanly.
And it's not like they're guessing as they go. They've got records and costs, materials. That surprised me.
The pipe rolls and wardrobe accounts are huge here. They tell us this was tracked almost obsessively.
Which makes the land pushing back feel worse. Like, you can plan all you want, but the ground doesn't care.
Marshy soil, tidal erosion, they're constantly rebuilding just to stay level.
And the work itself sounds brutal. Stone hauled from L.L.C, cranes running non-stop, kilns burning day and night.
It's industrial scale labor, slow, dangerous, and exhausting.
And then boom, 1294. Everything just stops again.
The uprising shuts the whole project down. No momentum, no continuity.
And when it starts again, it's different. Plans change, sections get dropped. Oh!
Which is why it's never finished.
That part really hit me, because from the outside it feels finished.
But the documents tell a different story.
And people are getting hurt while all this is happening. Deaths and accidents, arguments over wages. Speaking of which, are you going to pay me eventually?
Maybe. That's the cost that doesn't show up in photos.
So it's not a clean build that failed.
It's a project that kept straining under its own weight.
Yep, this one feels tired.
That's a good word for it. Caernarfon wasn't only walls, it was a system, a working machine, military, administrative, economic, built to support English rule. Inside these walls lived people, English garrisons, craftsmen and laborers, clerks and officials, servants, and settlers tied to the new English borough. At its height, several hundred soldiers and civilians lived and worked here, under the protection and pressure. Daily life was practical, relentless, guard duty on the walls, supplies counted and moved, orders written and enforced, markets regulated, access controlled. This wasn't a castle set apart from the town, it shaped the town. Goods moved constantly through this system: grain, fish, ale, salted meats, even imported wine. Not survival goods, but status goods. A reminder of who this place served. Trade wasn't free-flowing, it was managed. And the census told a story: sea wind cutting across stones, hammers striking iron, repair work echoing, boats calling from the quay, guards' voices crossing courtyards, the smell of damp stone, wood smoke, fish, and livestock outside the walls. This was not quiet life, this was controlled life. And the tension lived in who wasn't included. Welsh residents were often excluded during early occupation. English burgesses inside, Welsh communities outside. Lines were drawn, socially, politically, physically. Daily routes reinforced a simple reality: who belonged, who didn't, who had access, who was watched. And then came the moment that turned Caernarfon into a symbol with a face. Edward I presented his son, Edward II, as Prince of Wales, a political gesture. Whether you hear diplomacy, manipulation, or domination, the message was clear. This castle wasn't just holding land, it was shaping a narrative. That's why letters survive. Administrative records, supply lists, governance problems, because this wasn't a storybook fortress. It was a machine of rule. Stone and people working together to make power feel permanent.
That didn't feel like a castle.
No, it felt like a workplace.
Yeah, a busy one. Soldiers and clerks, laborers, everyone doing something all the time.
Yeah, that's what stood out to me too. This place wasn't quiet or ceremonial, it was operational.
And crowded, hundreds of people living there, working there, all under rules.
Guard schedules, supply counts, written orders, everything tracked, everything monitored.
The access control part really hit hard. Like, this isn't just about defense, it's about what's getting in and who doesn't. Not you, don't go there, no!
Exactly. The castle shapes the town around it, markets regulated, movement managed.
Even food feels political, grain, fish, ale, okay, but imported wine?
That's status, not survival, a reminder of who the system is serving.
And the sounds, hammers, dunk, 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 guards, boats, row, row. It felt loud.
Because it was. A working coastal hub doesn't sleep quietly.
Then you get to the part about who wasn't included, and suddenly everything tightens.
Welsh communities outside the walls, English burgesses inside, lines drawn every day through routine.
Because nothing dramatic has to happen, just daily reinforcements.
Who belongs, who's watched, who has access.
And that moment with Edward's son, that felt heavy.
Because it turns administration into narrative, a political gesture that says, this is how things are now.
So this isn't a fairy tale stronghold?
No, the letters, the lists, the records, they survive because this was governance.
Stone and people working together in perfect harmony.
Unfortunately, to make power feel permanent.
Not perfect anymore when you put it like that.
The first true crisis came in the winter of 1294. Wales rose in rebellion, led by Mad Dog Ap Llewellyn. Caernarfon was besieged, supply lines were threatened, pressure closed in, but the castle did not fall. It held not because it was invincible, but because the sea kept it alive. Ships brought food, men, orders. Maritime access was its lifeline and its weakness. The siege exposed cracks, unfinished walls, sections still under construction, a fortress dependent on water routes to survive. Caernarfon endured the rebellion, but the lesson remained. Even power has limits. As centuries passed, warfare changed. Gunpowder spread, cannons reshaped battlefields, tall stone walls, once symbols of dominance, became vulnerable. Their power faded. Then came political calm. Under the Tudor dynasty, Wales was absorbed more fully into the English crown. The need for massive frontier fortresses began to disappear. Caernarfon didn't fall through betrayal. No dramatic collapse, no final siege. Instead, storms, erosion, time. Water battered the waterfront walls, stone cracked, sections collapsed, scars remained, not from defeat, but from endurance. By the 16th century, its military purpose had faded. The castle became storage, offices, ceremony, a symbol more than a stronghold. And by the 17th and 18th centuries, Caernarfon slipped into partial ruin. Its fate was sealed not by conquest, but by absence.
Oh man, because that's the first time, Christopher just told me, because that's the first time this castle feels scary. Just hold me.
Yeah, that's the moment where the system gets tested, though.
The siege part really caught me. Not dramatic, just pressure. Closing in, making me feel itty bitty. Supplies threatened. Waiting. The waiting!
And what keeps it alive isn't strength, it's access.
The sea. The sea!
Exactly. Ships bringing food, men, orders, that's the lifeline.
But also, it's their weak spot?
Right, the same thing that saves it also exposes it.
And hearing about the unfinished walls during a siege, that's unsettling. It's like exposing your underwear.
You don't wear underwear, but it reminds you the castle isn't complete yet. It's still becoming itself while it's under threat.
So it survives, but not cleanly.
No, it holds, but it learned something.
Then time just keeps moving. Gunpowder shows up, cannons change everything.
And suddenly tall stone walls aren't the advantage they used to be.
That part feels quiet. No battle, no fall, just relevance draining away.
Political calm does that. Once Wales is absorbed more fully, frontier fortresses stop mattering.
So instead of being destroyed,
It's worn down by storms, water, and erosion.
it's like that line, scars from endurance, not defeat.
Because that's what's happening. By the 16th century, it's not a weapon anymore.
It's storage. Offices, get to work. Ceremony, salute me.
A symbol instead of a stronghold.
And then, partial ruin.
Not because someone took it, though.
But because it outlived the job.
Caernarfon's myths settle in layers. Some reach far back to Magnus Maximus, a Roman authority woven into Welsh prophecy. The idea that this land was always meant for power. Other stories came later, born from occupation, ghostly soldiers said to walk the halls, strange activity in the Eagle Tower, whispers of secret chambers, hidden treasure, Roman or Welsh, left behind in retreat. Not history, but memory looking for a voice. In the Victorian era, those stories grew louder. Tour guides embellished them, romance sold better than records. Mystery filled the gaps where facts ran thin, and some misconceptions came from the stone itself. The banded masonry, light and dark, feels ancient, Roman, so people assumed it was. Some even believed the castle stood fully on Roman foundations. Archaeology says otherwise. This is not a Roman fortress rebuilt. It's medieval, wearing an imperial costume. The most persistent myth still survives. That Caernarfon was finished exactly as planned. It wasn't, and that matters. Because unfinished monuments invite imagination. They feel like secrets. And when film and television show the castle as perfect and whole, the myth hardens. That's why these stories last. Caernarfon is intact enough to feel unbreakable, and incomplete enough to feel like it's hiding something.
That one felt hazy.
Yeah, like the facts start dissolving a little, right?
The fog metaphor works. It's not one myth, it's layers settling over time like a layered banana cake.
Exactly. Some of it reaches way back to Roman authority turning into prophecy.
The idea that land was always meant for power, that's a strong pull. Like 3 oxen taking me up the hill.
And then the later stories pile on. Ghost soldiers, strange sounds, secret chambers, hidden treasure.
None of it documented, but none of it random either, huh?
Right, it's memory trying to speak when records go quiet.
The Victorian part made me laugh a little.
Yeah, romance sells better,
Tour guides filling gaps because people want mystery.
and the stone itself helps. The banded masonry looks Roman, so people assume it is.
Even believing the whole castle sits on a Roman foundation? Hail Caesar!
Which archaeology just doesn't support. It's medieval, dressed older than it is.
That disguise feels important.
Because it blurs the timeline. People stop asking when something was built and start assuming it's eternal.
The unfinished part still stuck with me. Eternally unfinished.
Yep. Myth will do that.
Because unfinished places invite imagination.
They do. They feel like they're hiding something.
And when movies and TV smooth it out,
The myth hardens.
so the castle ends up in this strange space, not ruined enough to feel broken.
And not complete enough to feel settled.
Which explains why people keep projecting onto it.
Exactly. It's intact enough to feel unbreakable.
And incomplete enough to feel secretive. Shh, I'm a castle spy.
That's why the fog never really lifts. By the late 18th and 19th centuries, Caernarfon was rediscovered, not as a fortress, but as a ruin. Romantic, dramatic, timeless. The Gothic revival reshaped how people saw stone. What once meant control now meant beauty. Early travelers sketched it, artists painted it. J.M.W. Turner helped carry its image beyond Wales, turning weathered walls into symbol. But Caernarfon's meaning was never simple. In Wales, it became two things at once: a reminder of conquest and a piece of shared heritage. Those meanings still exist inside the same walls. Preservation began formally in the late 19th century under the Office of Works. Walls were stabilized, fragile sections reinforced, but debate followed. How much should be repaired? Where does preservation end and invention begin? Victorian restoration solved problems and created new questions. Modern tools changed the conversation. Scanning and surveys revealed missing walls, unfinished lines, structures that were planned but never built. Once again confirming the truth, the vision was larger than what survived. Today, Caernarfon draws hundreds of thousands of visitors each year, and it remains a stage. In 1969, the investiture of the Prince of Wales pulled modern politics back into medieval stone. Caernarfon survives because people chose to protect it. But what it means, that depends on who is standing in its shadow.
Christopher! I need to say something.
Of course you do. Just out with it.
This castle hurts.
Yeah, that tracks.
Because once you see it as a machine, not just walls, not just history, but a system built to dominate, you can't unsee it.
Caernarfon doesn't pretend to be neutral. It was designed to control land, people, movement, and then it was remembered differently.
That's the part that gets me. It starts as a conquest, then becomes ruin, then romance, like time cast a spell on it.
By the 18th and 19th centuries, people weren't seeing a fortress anymore. They saw drama, beauty, timelessness. The Gothic revival rewrote the emotional language of stone.
And artists helped with that. Sketches, paintings, walls softened by fog and light.
Especially J.M.W. Turner. He turned weathered stone into atmosphere, into feeling.
But the meaning never settles, does it?
No. In Wales, Caernarfon became two things at once again. A reminder of conquest and a piece of shared heritage. Those meanings don't cancel each other out. They coexist.
Like overlapping enchantments?
If you want to call it that.
I do. Because preservation itself feels like magic. Someone choosing to keep a thing alive.
And that choice comes with arguments. When preservation began in the late 19th century, people debated how much to repair. Where does preservation end, and once again, invention begin?
The Victorian restorations fixed walls, but also rewrote history.
Exactly. And modern tools complicated it further. Scans and surveys showed missing walls, unfinished lines, plans that never became reality. Once again confirming the truth. The vision was larger than what survived.
Which makes the castle feel unfinished on purpose?
And that's why it still works as a stage. Hundreds of thousands of visitors every year. And moments like 1969, when modern politics walked back into medieval stone.
So the machine never really shuts down fully. It just changes software?
That might be the most accurate summary of this episode.
Caernarfon survives because people choose to protect it. But what it means, that depends on who's standing in its shadow.
And that's why this castle matters. Not because it's perfect, but because it's layered.
As a wizard, I feel obligated to say this place isn't haunted by ghosts. It's haunted by decisions.
That's better than most ghost tours.
And that's why I'm all ready to move in.
Oh?
Yep. Because next time, we're leaving domination behind. We're stepping into something else entirely. A castle built not to control a border, but to express imagination!
Next episode, we travel to France, to Chateau de Champern, a place where power doesn't hide behind walls, it dances.
Which, magically speaking, is my preferred architecture.
If you've been enjoying this journey through stone, power, and memory, follow the show, leave us a review, and share the episode with someone who thinks castles are just fairy tales. Remember, keep your curiosity torches lit.
And the drawbridge to wonder always lowered.
Trebby swears these walls can talk. Says it mutters when we walk. Claims it's magic, ancient lore. It's just the wind, or maybe more. Who built it? We don't know. Why here? That's the show. Did it fall? Did it last? Every stone's a question asked. Castles from around the world. Raise your voice, let the banners unfurl. Castles from around the world. Every stone's got a story to hurl. Sing it loud, sing it proud, sing it true, true. From the ancient to the ruined and new. Castles from around the world. We come to wander the ages with you.